All right, y'all. It is smug time with Bill Maher. It is smug time with Bill Maher. It is upon us. I actually have two Bill Maher things to talk about today. One of them you're about to see right now. He just did a new rule segment where he calls young Democrats terrorist supporters. So we'll talk about that in a second. And then later on, when Crystal's last appearance on Real Time, which was from a few years back, it just went viral. I guess somebody posted it on TikTok and it blew up and then it made its way to Twitter and it was fucking everywhere. And so I'm going to talk about that too in a little bit, but let's start with this one. So Bill Maher did a new rule segment the other day. Sitting beside him was Representative Mike Lawler, who's been under a lot of heat lately, and he's almost certainly going to lose his seat. But Bill Maher decides to do another one of his smug rants about, like, let me tell you everything that's wrong with the Democrats, okay? And it turns out the problem is they're too far left, and young Democrats love Hamas, okay? Classic, annoying-ass, smug-ass Bill Maher rant. Let's listen, and needless to say, I'll probably pop a blood vessel or two in this segment.
Democrats should reclaim the flag and then get it clean because someone's been humping it. But seriously, this is a serious problem for Democrats. Less than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be an American. 54% say they're embarrassed by it. Embarrassed. Like America's your mom picking you up at school?
Yeah. Your reaction is not to be embarrassed when Donald Trump's sitting in the White House? You're not embarrassed by that? I think that's pretty fucking embarrassing. There's a lot that we do that I think is really fucking embarrassing. I mean, we just had 7 plane crashes in Trump's first 100 days. And you have the Secretary of Transportation saying, hey, man, it's not even really that safe to fly right now. Radar is going out at Newark Airport. That's not embarrassing? We can't do basic shit anymore. Trump made it so you're not allowed to say clean and safe water anymore in government documents. They're banning, like, the phrase clean water because it's woke. They pulled down the page that had the Enola Gay on it, which was, of course, the plane that did one of the bombings of Japan. They pulled it down because the word gay was there, and they said that's woke. And by the way, I could list things all fucking day. Cutting pediatric cancer research, like all the shit that has been done. This isn't embarrassing to you? What, do you not allow yourself to ever get embarrassed? It's fucking embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Why are we pretending like it's not embarrassing? Why are we pretending like that's the case? Look at what's going on with fucking, whatever, Mike Waltz and the Signal Gate, where he just was sharing the most highly classified information about a direct attack with a journalist not realizing it and doing it on an app which is hackable. Like, and again, I go on and on and on. Why are you pretending like that's not embarrassing? That's the correct reaction, is to be embarrassed. By the way, the embarrassment stems from the fact that, hey, it shouldn't be like this. Things should be better. Things should be more professional. Things should be more intelligent. Things should be fixed. Not everything should be a fucking mess. Like, this is such a fucking boomer mindset. Like, oh, you're criticizing America? I guess you hate America. Okay. Like, that's the vibe of it. And these are just like cheap fucking linguistic tricks to try to bully people into fucking shutting up, right?
54% say they're embarrassed by it. Embarrassed. Like America's your mom picking you up at school? You're embarrassed to be an American? Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual. Because you have no perspective. Is America perfect? No, of course not. No country is. Although don't get Tucker Carlson started on Russia. But the U.S. is leagues ahead of the rest of the world on most of the progressive issues that are important to young people.
That's the dumbest and most incorrect thing I've ever heard in my life. On virtually every single one of those issues, there's a bunch of countries that are ahead of us. Look at Scandinavia. So many Scandinavian countries have universal health care. They have free or nearly free college. They have higher wages because everybody's in a union. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I hate this guy so much. I genuinely hate this guy so much.
World on most of the progressive issues that are important to young people. America has 14 million women-owned businesses.
What the fuck does that have to do with what we're talking about, bro? What? Oh, sorry, I won't criticize Trump's idiotic trade war because, what? There's 14 million women-owned businesses? What, you think this is like some debate-ending point? We're supposed to be rah America all the time because there's 14 million women-owned businesses. What the fuck? By the way, there's like what 350 million people in this country, and that's like what? You think that's something to cheer about? Oh my God.
17% of black women are starting businesses, which is faster than white women or white men. Gay Americans are free to marry, and 49% of them own property. Yes.
I love how Bill Maher, he does this whole like, I'm against identity politics, okay. And then when he goes to list reasons why you shouldn't be embarrassed by this country, he's got nothing but like identity politics arguments. Like what?
In America, gays buy buildings. In other places, they get thrown off them.
Ooh, of course, of course, a little bit of fuck the Muslims, okay? We don't like Islam, folks, okay? They kill gay people. It's like the meme that, people share all the time these days where it shows Gaza just in total rubble, bombed to smithereens by Israel, and it's got the face of a dude like, what if you were gay in Gaza, though?
All those old movies you think are cringe? Well, they're cringe because America changed, because we modernized. Way more than most societies have.
And you're against that because you always whine and cry and bitch and moan about cancel culture, but you're admitting here that, hey, maybe some of the cancel culture stuff was necessary to get, to get people to stop saying N-word hard R on the norm, right? Like,
our current Congress is the most racially and ethnically diverse ever.
Okay, well, do you have any non-identity-based argument for us here as to why we should be rah-rah cheerleading America at a time which is the most embarrassing for this country in history, where we're in late-stage capitalism and imperial decline, which is obvious to fucking everybody except you?
They're like a beautiful, useless rainbow. And we proudly live in a land where every TV commercial features a mixed-race couple, including the ones where it makes no sense. Mom's black, dad's white, and the kid's Asian. But here is the dilemma for Democrats. Their young people, their key constituency, not only don't like their own civilization, they like the wrong one. They actually think Hamas is a liberation movement.
I'm gonna fucking lose it, bro. The problem with America is, okay, young people love Hamas, okay. Oh my God. He literally has nothing but obvious straw men of people he disagrees with. Like, the young people love terrorists, okay. Bill Maher is a guy who got fired from his first show, Politically Incorrect, because he said, right after the 9/11 attacks, he said, look, those guys flew planes into the buildings. Say what you want about them, but they're definitely not cowardly. They stayed in a plane when it hit a building. And he was called a terrorist supporter for saying that. Now here he is, smearing young Americans, saying they love Hamas. Why? Because there's been a bunch of protests where people are against Israel's genocide of Palestinians? Right? Like, that's what people care about. They care about, hey, stop carpet bombing innocent people. And he twists that and spins it and acts like you can take the most egregious action of Hamas and young people are out there fucking cheerleading it. Oh my God.
They chant for the Houthis. They're chanting, we will honor our martyrs at Yale. They're looking for love in all the wrong countries.
Oh my God. I can't. Like, the people, everybody who pretends, like, oh, if you defend the Houthi action of blockading ships into Israel, if you do that, therefore you support everything about the Houthis. You support whatever sort of backwards ideology they have when it comes to social issues and women and gay people. Again, that is such a total fucking non sequitur and straw man of what people are saying. The argument is the Houthis blockading Israel, that is an attempt to do what like the fucking UN should be doing, because Israel is massacring innocent people on a daily basis and starving innocent people on a daily basis. And so the least one can do is say, hey, what if we try to stop trade with Israel and try to block the ships from getting to Israel to try to force them to stop doing their genocide? That's the point, is that like the Houthis are doing what the UN should be doing, but the UN is not doing it. And so somebody stepped up and said, hey, we're going to try to stop ships from getting into Israel. That's the extent of the support for the Houthis. Nobody's saying like, hey, I love their tax policy and I love their sexism. Like, nobody said that, but this is all they have because they can't engage with the arguments on the facts. So they change the conversation.
Someone needs to tell the kids that America is not the society where women basically have no rights, where there's zero freedom of religion, and where...
Again, tell me one young Democrat or one young liberal or leftist who's like, yes, Bill Maher, I think women should be covered from head to toe and they should have to wear a burqa. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. You're just strawmanning them.
Dissent is punishable by death. Our democracy may be on life support, but we still have elections. They don't. And yet at Coachella this year, when an Irish rap group projected onto screens, "Fuck Israel, free Palestine," got big applause.
Yeah, and you're undermining your own argument, you dipshit. It says, "Fuck Israel, free Palestine." It doesn't say anything about Hamas. Fuck Israel, free Palestine, as in, stop the genocide, and by the way, Palestinians deserve human rights and self-determination. That's the point. It is inarguably 100% correct. This is how sloppy of a thinker he is he thinks this is a gotcha. Like, see, young people have no moral compass. Actually, these are the only people with the moral fucking compass. To say a genocide is bad, fuck the country doing the genocide, and the ones who are being genocided deserve human rights and freedom and sovereignty.
Globalize the intifada is the catchphrase that's really catching on these days, as if worldwide suicide bombing and cosplaying Islamic revolutionaries is the answer to our problems.
Yeah, because that's what people mean when they say that. When they say globalize the intifada, they mean like, yeah, let's go do some suicide bombings. It's not that they mean, hey, let's liberate Palestine and make it so they stop being oppressed. Can't be that, right?
At an AOC Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho last month, someone threw a Palestinian flag over an American flag, and the crowd erupted in approval. What should have happened after that is one of the adults on stage should have told their young, loyal followers, this is not a symbol of freedom.
Oh my God. Again, straw man. So it's a Palestine flag. And he's pretending like this is support for Hamas. It's not. It's a Palestine flag. It's not a fucking Hamas flag, right? And the reason people are cheering is because these people are being genocided, and we need to stop that. It is our money and our weapons that are going to it. That's the point. To stand up with oppressed people, to stand up with people who are getting murdered, that is the progressive position. That is the correct position. He acts like it's some sort of scandal. Why? Because you want the American flag to not be covered by the Palestinian flag? Who the fuck cares? I would stand up for any oppressed people who are being genocided right in front of our eyes and make a point of saying, hey, this is one of the most important issues right now.
One of the adults on stage should have told their young, loyal followers, this is not a symbol of freedom.
This is not a symbol of freedom.
This is.
He's saying the American flag is a symbol of freedom at the exact same time that Trump is getting rid of habeas corpus, rounding up innocent people and sending them to a slave labor gulag concentration camp in El Salvador with no due process whatsoever, deporting 4-year-old American citizens with cancer, deporting innocent gay Venezuelan makeup artists who they lie and say they're in Tren de Aragua, they're not, or they say they're in MS-13, they're not. So for some reason, the American flag, in Bill Maher's mind, it only represents all the good things about America, and you could disregard all the bad things about America. Well, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I'm of the belief that it encapsulates all of us. Does it encapsulate the good things like the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King Jr., and the Constitution and free speech? Sure, it does represent, but it also represents the illegal and offensive Iraq war and torture at Guantanamo Bay and Abu Ghraib and what the fuck is going on in this country right now where Trump is destroying everything. He said, I don't know if I'm supposed to file the Constitution. That's what he said. So yeah, to burn the American flag in a moment like this, obviously the point is to burn down what Trump is representing right now. What Trump wants that flag to mean. That's the point. But here he is. This is like fucking bullshit boomer-ass fake patriotism, which tries to shut down real debate about what's going on in this country right now. God, I hate these people.
If the thought leaders in the Democratic Party keep encouraging and not rebuking the idea that America is cringe and the people who run Gaza are great, the Democrats are doomed.
Yeah, that's the problem. The Democrats are way too pro-Gaza. They're way too pro-Palestine. I don't know if you noticed, Bill, but when Joe Biden was president, he was arming and funding Netanyahu during the height of the atrocities. And there was barely a peep. It was only like Rashida Tlaib who was like, this is bad. And she's right, by the way. The idea that the Democrats are struggling because they're too pro-Palestine. What a fucking joke. They're struggling because they're not pro-Palestine enough. This is quantitative. They actually did a poll about the impact Gaza had on the election, and it made a real difference that people felt like Kamala did not break with Joe Biden enough. If Kamala was more vocally pro-Palestine, more vocally against the genocide, she probably would have gotten thousands of votes more, and that could have changed the outcome. Now, as you all know, there was suppression efforts from the right, and they kind of, they used some old Jim Crow tactics to get over 3 million votes dismissed. So possibly wouldn't have made a difference, but we do know there is empirical evidence and reason to believe that if she took the opposite position on Gaza and was more pro-Palestine, that would have been better for her in terms of overall vote count.
The Democrats are doomed. Alyssa Slotkin's right. Liberals are weak and woke, especially the white ones, and they indulge all sorts of nonsense from their kids, a pattern that then continues on in the Democratic Party.
By the way, he's citing Alyssa Slotkin, saying she's right. Democrats are too weak and woke. Bill, Alyssa Slotkin voted for more than 8 of Trump's cabinet picks. She voted for the Laken-Riley Act, which got rid of due process for immigrants. She was a Bush national security advisor. She's former CIA. This woman is the weakness in the Democratic Party, and she is the MAGA sellout. And you're citing the MAGA sellout like she's the fucking truth teller. No, she's not. She's the problem, Bill, and so are you.
Liberals are weak and woke, especially the white ones, and they indulge all sorts of nonsense from their kids, a pattern that then continues on in the Democratic Party. Last election, it was all the gender stuff, the insistence that men can have babies and such.
Kamala didn't say anything about trans people. She said fucking nothing about trans people. Nothing. And to you, that's still the reason they lost. They were too pro-Palestine, which they weren't, and they talked too much about trans issues, which they didn't. They live in a fucking fantasy world, and the answer is always, move to the right, go closer to MAGA.
And now I fear that we like the terrorists is the new that.
Bro, I'm done, bro. I'm done. I don't even know why I do this show. The problem with the Democratic Party, and young Democrats in particular, he says, is that their belief is, quote, we like the terrorists. Yeah, Bill, what a good faith reading of what people who disagree with you believe. This is Mr. like, I believe in dialogue, I believe in free speech, I believe in open conversation, but only with Trump, who I went to dinner with, and only with the Republicans, who I'll fucking steelman them all day. If anybody's a fucking millimeter to my left, it's, you love the terrorists, you're disgusting, you're pro-terrorist, that's gross. I've never seen a more bad faith point in my entire life. Ever. Because the obvious reality, the obvious perspective of people to Bill's left is, can you please stop carpet bombing innocent people? Can you please stop bombing hospitals and schools and UN buildings and paramedics? Can you please stop starving Gaza, where for over 60 days they haven't allowed in any food, and we have pictures of people with severe malnutrition on the brink of death being shown. Over 50 or 60 people have already died from not getting enough food. Israel's open about the fact that they're starving people. They're open about the fact they're ethnically cleansing the region and doing a genocide. And his reading of that is, if you're against the genocide, you are, quote, pro-terrorist. This fucking asshole should be off TV. I mean, he is so washed. Like him, Joe Rogan, all these people, they're so washed. You're so fucking immensely out of touch. You're such a liar. You relentlessly strawman people to your left who are right. I can't handle it, bro. I'm done with these people.
We like the terrorists is the new that. Liberals need to push back on the dumb ideas that come from their children. The Democrats' problem is the energy of the party is with the young, and the young are with the terrorists. That's not good.
So the energy is with the young, and the young are with the terrorists. What he means by that is, hey man, supporting AOC, supporting Bernie Sanders, that means you're with the terrorists. Pro-Palestine means you're with the terrorists. That's what he's saying. Why does anybody pretend like this guy's on our side? Nobody, like, this guy obviously is a fake Democrat. Obviously, that's what he is. It's time for the Democrat to go back to its roots of FDR, its roots of social democracy, its roots of being anti-war. And here he is scolding and chastising the actual lefties and saying, you're pro-terrorist and the party needs to be more like me. Well, the irony of that is what? It's Bill Maher who's pro-terrorist. He loves Netanyahu. He loves the ethno-state, apartheid state government of Israel, which is carrying out a genocide and an ethnic cleansing. You love the terrorists, Bill. You do.
So talk to your children and remind them you don't really want to live like your heroes in Hamas.
Literally not a single lefty or Democrat in this country has ever said, you know, I wish we were permanently occupied like Gaza, and I wish we had the same social policies as Gaza. Nobody fucking said that. He's got nothing but lies.
Shit you do all day, it was all made in America. Your smartphone, your Grubhub, your freedom to bitch about America.
The smartphones are not made in America at all. What the fuck is he talking about?
That's all American stuff. You tell your phone you want a milkshake and a guy brings it to your house. Please, you couldn't survive a week living in Intifadaville.
Who is saying, bro, I really wish I was living in Gaza where I was getting carpet bombed and being starved to death. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. And by the way, Bill, this part of the problem too is you live in a paradise where somebody will deliver a milkshake to your door. And the point of the lefties is that person should make a living wage. They shouldn't be fucking barely getting by. Oh my God. These guys are all smug idiots.
You're like the girl in White Lotus who was going to live in a Buddhist monastery and then lasted one night.
Look at this smug-ass face. Look at this smug-ass face. Oh, my God, I'm losing it. We are in a fight for the soul of the Democratic Party right now, but guess what? I got good news for you. We're winning. We're winning. There's a reason why they have to resort to these sorts of disgusting smears, because they know they're losing, and they're desperate, right? It's like the whole abundance movement thing, Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson or whatever that other guy's name is, and they're making an argument of like, and by the way, Democrats in Congress started an abundance caucus. Their whole argument is like, the reason Democrats lost is because they're not neoliberal enough, and we need to do zoning reform, we need YIMBYism, and we need to build more housing, but the problem is government and red tape and too many rules. So it's just rebranded neoliberalism. But it is such a top-down effort where it's like big money funding these commentators who make the arguments and try to force this on everybody, when obviously the real grassroots feeling right now is, no, the problem are the billionaires. That's the problem. It's the billionaires, it's the corporations, it's the corruption. We see it right in front of our eyes with Trump and Elon Musk and what they're doing. So we are fighting a battle against a robber baron coup and a fascist takeover. And that's why all the energy is with AOC and Bernie. And you see other people like Tim Walz and JB Pritzker. They're becoming more left-wing, and they're starting to make these arguments. Ironically, even though JB Pritzker is a billionaire himself, but he's acting like a class traitor, right? That's where the energy is. And so all these other attempts to try to derail us and get us to pick Democrats that are more pro-MAGA and get Democrats that aren't left, it's all a game to try to be like, bro, we're cool with the billionaires and we're cool with the warmongering, right? We're still cool with that. And the base is answering, fuck no, we're not cool with that. And so they're melting down. That's where this stems from. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.